I've been thinking a lot about recent events, and I'm sure literally everyone is. And what happened to Charlie Kirk was obviously a tragedy, and a terrible act against someone who was clearly a good man. I didn't really know much about him until he was killed. I had seen a couple of his videos online debating with people, but I never had a really good sense of who the guy was. Now, I've seen the undeniable impact he has had on this world. The number of people who are impacted by this relatively young guy is honestly staggering. It hits me really hard considering that Charlie and me both would be turning 32 in a couple months from now. I had to stop and ask myself about the kind of impact he has, and naturally, I compared his accomplishments with mine. And I've gone through a whole arc of dealing with shame because I've often felt like I've not accomplished enough. I haven't done what I should have done in my life. I think a lot of young men have all been there. But I've made peace with where I am, understanding the mountains that I had to climb to be the man that I am right now. That being said, I still have to ask myself, am I being all that I could be? Have I lived a good life today? Still, the answer is undoubtedly no. If I would have given my all and sacrificed everything I was meant to sacrifice, would I be like Charlie? Maybe not. I'm my own man, but looking at someone that worked so hard and diligently for the kingdom and someone who ended up dying for what he stood for is sobering and brings up what I hope is a godly shame in me. Like so many young men today, I have been taken out by the enemy through comforts and complacency. We all know what we're supposed to do. It's that thing you promised yourself you would do, if only fill in the blank happens first. Oh, let me do this one thing that will make it easier, and then I'll do the thing that I'm supposed to do. And after that, another hurdle comes into place, and we tell ourselves more lies about the kind of people we're going to be someday. But we get stuck going through the motions again, surviving, but never actually living. I am so sick and tired of continuing to exist, to just exist. However, the world and its comforts welcome me in every stinking time. It doesn't matter what your particular drug of choice is. We all have our go-tos. Some of them from the outside might seem healthy and perfectly fine, and maybe they are for other people, but they are stealing our lives away. Because instead of doing what we were meant to do, we go back to the drug to make us feel okay. Everything revolves around it. I get off work and my goal is to get some relief, to get whatever it is we're craving. But you know it doesn't work. It doesn't satisfy anything. And then we get stuck in the constant loop of shame and change and failure, leading to more shame that brings us back to look for comfort. I try to watch and reflect on a particular episode of Star Trek that deeply speaks to me every time I watch it. Tapestry is probably the best Star Trek episode ever written, and certainly the most impactful. The loved, feared, and respected Captain Picard gets the unique opportunity to go back and change aspects of his life that he found to be less desirable. He was a pompous, arrogant fool as a young man, and made some poor decisions that lost him his heart, literally. Through an encounter with a godlike entity Q, Picard was able to relive and change some of the decisions made in the past, only to come back to a future where he was no longer the captain of the Enterprise. He was a mild-mannered desk clerk, doing boring, tedious jobs.
I believe that I can do more.
Throughout your career, you've had lofty goals, but You've never been willing to do what's necessary to attain them.
If you want to get ahead, you have to take chances. Stand out in a crowd. Get noticed.
I see.
Now, we don't want to lose you. You're a very good officer.
Just not one who stands out.
Having a good laugh now, Q. Does it amuse you to think of me living out the rest of my life as a dreary man in a tedious job? I can't live out my days as that person. That man is bereft of passion and imagination. That is not who I am.
Au contraire, he's the person you wanted to be. One who was less arrogant and undisciplined in his youth. The Jean-Luc Picard you wanted to be had quite a different career from the one you remember. That Picard never had a brush with death, never came face to face with his own mortality, never realized how fragile life is or how important each moment must be. So his life never came into focus. He drifted through much of his career with no plan or agenda, going from one assignment to the next, never seizing the opportunities that presented themselves. He learned to play it safe. And he never, ever got noticed by anyone.
I would rather die as the man I was than live the life I just saw.
Because he never took risks and never lived life intentionally, he ended up going from place to place, moving from one assignment to the next, never really making conscious decisions. I am terrified of becoming that man. I feel at this point in my life, I am that man. And it scares the hell out of me, and it should. It also makes me think of the powerful and heartbreaking Robin Williams movie, Dead Poets Society. And Robin Williams' character fought for the hearts and desires of these young men and taught them to cultivate their dreams and make intentional decisions to shape their lives. Doing so was so disruptive that it got him fired, just for choosing to teach people to live rather than to slowly die like everybody else.
Gather ye rosebuds while ye may, old time is still a-flying, and this same flower that smiles today, tomorrow will be dying.
Gather ye rosebuds while ye may. The Latin term for that sentiment is carpe diem. Seize the day. Gather ye rosebuds while ye may. Why does the writer use these lines? Because we are food for worms, lads. Because believe it or not, each and every one of us in this room is one day going to stop breathing, turn cold, and die. I'd like you to step forward over here and peruse some of the faces from the past. You've walked past them many times. I don't think you've really looked at them. They're not that different from you, are they? Same haircuts, full of hormones, just like you. Invincible, just like you feel. Did they wait until it was too late to make from their lives even one iota of what they were capable? Because you see, gentlemen, these boys are now fertilizing daffodils. But if you listen real close, you can hear them whisper their legacy to you. Carpe diem. Seize the day, boys. Make your lives extraordinary.
This also makes me think of a very chilling Theodore Roosevelt quote. Far better is it to dare mighty things, to win glorious triumphs, even though checkered by failure, than to rank with those poor spirits who neither enjoy nor suffer much, because they live in a gray twilight that knows not victory nor defeat. For me, I always think of The Lion King and the charge to Simba by Mufasa.
Simba, you have forgotten me.
No. How could I?
You have forgotten who you are, and so forgotten me. Look inside yourself, Simba. You are more than what you have become. You must take your place in the circle of life.
How can I go back? I'm not who I used to be.
Remember who you are. You are my son, and the one true king. Remember who you are.
This is really key. We are all made in the image of God. And if you have been adopted by God into his kingdom, then you also have a unique purpose that only you can accomplish. I think Charlie's made it very clear what he wants all of us to do to remember him.
Men, let's be honest. We got to raise our game in this culture. We are constantly around one. They say, oh, just go place another bet on this running back to run 100 yards. Just go to the cannabis dispensary and medicate yourself. That's all a bunch of BS. Go look to your grandfather's generation that stormed Normandy Beach, that built this nation, that started big businesses, that went on adventure. If the most important thing for you is just feeling good, you're going to end up miserable. But if the most important thing is doing good, you will end up purposeful. Purpose will give you happiness. You see, we live in a country where they think that purpose, where they think that happiness is pleasure. We know that purpose is above all of this. Serving God, understanding why we are here, that we are made in his image, that there is a struggle of good versus evil. By the way, you're involved in that struggle every single day on the college campuses. Every day you get to fight for what is good and what is true and beautiful. So next time when you're on a college campus, and if you want to be a man, this is what you do. If you want to stay a boy, go and do what your other friends do. But men say, you know what? No, I'm actually not going to go hook up with a bunch of girls. I'm going to save myself for marriage. Actually, I'm not going to go do that. But if you want to go be a boy, go do that. It takes no skill and no talent and no self-restraint whatsoever just to follow your flesh. An animal can do that. A dog can do that. You know what mature people do? Mature people say no to what feels good and they pursue what is good. And far too often on college campuses, we have these grown boys. And I'm talking to a lot of you in this audience, and it's time for you guys to up your game. It's time for you guys to stop doing just what feels good all the time. Oh yeah, we're just going to go get, blackout drunk till 2 a.m. and hook up with some stranger. No. If you want to stay in the lower standard, a miserable cycle of debt and suffering and depression, lack of community, go do that. Instead, on a Saturday night, say, you know what? I'm going to hang out with some friends that are not going to drink, are not going to, engage with this stuff. And then maybe on Sunday morning, I'm going to go to church, or I'm going to go to mass, and then I'm going to go work out, and then I'm going to study. Who will be happier? You know I'm right.
Do not let this world snuff out your light. We need your voice, and we need your life. Thank you so much for watching, and I sincerely hope that this has convicted you as much as it has me. We are in this together, and we have a battle to fight. So let's stop putting it off and let's get to work.